This is part 2 of the video, and in this section I'm going to focus mostly on the financial aspects, uniforms, the step-by-step at the end and what to expect, as well as our fundraiser. The tuition for high school 15s through 18s is the same across the board. The tuition this season is $19.50 and the travel is $700 for a total of $26.50. As Bree mentioned earlier, the $700 covers your team costs for those out-of-state tournaments that they'll be attending. It does not include your hotel stay, transportation, or anything that you would incur while you're down there. We do offer different types of ways to pay. So I want to just briefly touch on everything. There's a couple different options. So hopefully this will be an explanation on how you can do it. The first thing would be to pay in full. And we do have fees associated with processing online as well as installments. So I'm going to go through each of the ways so that it's clear on what you'd be charged fees for and what you wouldn't. If you pay your fee in full by check, there are absolutely no fees. You would just drop off your check along with the paperwork and it would just be for the $26.50. For those of you who want to pay in full but want to use a credit card, there is a processing fee that is charged through Sport Engine, which is the same system you used for the tryout, and it's 2.9%. And that is their fee, and it's used for processing through the system. Now, some people would like to use an electronic check. Please note that if you use an electronic check through the system, it is charged the 2.9% because it's not a credit card fee, it's a processing fee. So even if you wanted to pay by check in Sport Engine, you're better off writing a check because then you would avoid the 2.9% fee. If you choose to pay in installments, we do offer 5 or up to 5 payments. So what would be required on the first day would be a 20% of the $26.50. There are no fees if you pay by check with that first installment. You can go into up to 4 more additional, so for 5 total. So the first one would be due at the checkout, and then the next installment would be December, January, February, March. So you can do up to 5. With each installment, there's a $30 fee minus the first payment. So if you were to pay, let's use the scenario of checks for 5 payments, your first payment would be for 20%, and then each of the 4 additional checks would be 20% plus $30. If you set it up in the system with a credit card, you will incur the $30 fee and it sets it up for you, but you'd also incur the 2.9%. So I just want to make it clear to everybody that by using the credit card, that 2.9% fee is going to be used. But even if you pay by check, there is a $30 fee for payment 2, 3, 4, and 5. If you choose to pay by check, we ask when you come to the checkout that you give post-dated checks so that they'll be attached to your daughter's file, and then on the due dates they would just be deposited into the account and applied towards the balance. And you can bring those in post-dated, and then like I said, I hold them off to the side and they'd be deposited on that time. You don't have to choose 5 payments. So if for whatever reason you were to choose that payment plan of 3, let's say, you could break it into thirds. You could bring in a third if you wanted to. Then you'd have 2 additional payments with only $60 instead of $120 for the 4 payments. Or you could just pay 20%. On that first night, we're not requiring you to pay any more than 20%, and then split the balance into 2 more payments. So you don't have to go, with the full 5 payments. You can do as little or as many as you'd like. That's how the system works. So when you go into Sport Engine, it's one of the steps, which I'll go through a little more specifically, but you will, at that time, you will choose which payment plan you want. If you're paying with checks, this is very, very important. Even if you're going to bring a check in full the night of the meeting, you must register online. It's our full means of communication for everybody for tournaments, any kind of changes in the system, weather, anything that we have, and it also allows us to help put the kids on rosters. So if you're going to pay by checks, whether it's in full or installments, you still must go in the system, and what you will do is you will choose the offline payment. So when you go to the drop-down box, it'll say full, it'll say 2, 3, 4, and it'll say offline. This will register your daughter. It will not allow or, require you to make a payment. So she'll still be registered. She'll show in our system, and then you would bring in your payments. If you do installments, you will not see each of those installments applied to the account. It will be paid in full once that last payment is deposited. So if you were ever in question, you could always check in with me personally, and I could let you know, yes, I have 2 more payments left, or something like that. A lot of people come to me and say, what if I choose the 5 payment plan and then I want to, pay it off a month or 2 early? You can absolutely do that. If you set it up with a credit card, you'd have to contact me, and I'd have to cancel the remaining balance. You can't go in and cancel those yourself, but I could cancel it, and then we could adjust the fees, and you can make that final payment. And if you had given post-dated checks, you could just issue a check for the balance, and then I can shred and void or get you those checks back. So even though you choose one, you're not really held to having to do that one, just so that you know. The next thing I want to talk about, which is another cost that's associated, is the uniform. And this year we're offering a returner's uniform package as well as a new. And the new player package is $3.99, and what it includes is your 2 jerseys, spandex, your warm-up top and bottom, knee pads, shoes, and the backpack. So essentially everything that comes in the package will be included. And for our returners, it's $1.99. And you'll get the 1 custom jersey and your warm-up top and bottom. Nike recycled out some of the styles, which is our warm-up, so we do need to have our returners get the warm-up. Our intent and our hope is to have the try-on at the checkout. And we have the warm-up samples coming to us. So we will communicate out to you once we know one way or another if we have them on time that the girls can come. If we don't have the warm-up, it doesn't make sense for them to come, but we will be, within the next couple of days, be getting out a couple of try-on dates to come in. When you come in to try on the uniform, you're going to get a flyer, whether you're a returner or new. It'll give you a code, it'll give you a deadline date, and it'll show the items that you need to order. So it's really a good system once we have it, but we really want to make sure we have those samples, and we'll communicate that out to you, whether your daughter should come on Monday night or not. So that is how the uniform will work. They will be delivered to us. They'll be bagged, and then we will hand them out as we get them in. Last year they were mailed to your house directly. This year they'll be mailed to us. So that's a little different for the returners who did it through Nike last year. A lot of people ask how they can offset their costs. And one way to do that is our fundraiser. It's been very, very successful for us. We've been running it for years now. And for returners, you'll know how this works. Nothing has changed with it. But for our new families, the way that we run the fundraiser is it's a raffle. And the first 10 tickets, each family is required to sell 10 tickets at $10 a ticket, so $100. It is a cash raffle. So the first prize is $10,000. Your second prize is $2,500, and third prize is $1,000. We will do the drawing at Club One on Sunday, December 18th, I believe is the day. And they come in and they will draw the raffle on that day. So you have up until that time or a day or two before